Hello, my name is Kathy, and today I'm going to talk about creativity and beat up old major appliances. I have lived in many different types of home environments through the years, and so have a great deal of experience in handling situations with less than ideal appliances and how to creatively resolve these issues. Let's start with refrigerators. I have lived with some memorable refrigerators in my time, and these beat up, rusted old hunks of metal that dominate your kitchen area can be turned into the focal point for your entire kitchen. First, make sure the beast is in working condition. If it is, and all you are looking at is a major eyesore, well, we are now in business. The first thing to do is to do a super thorough cleaning of the inside of the refrigerator, and then a super cleaning with a steel wood pad so that all areas of the refrigerator are as clean as you can get them on the outside. Then vacuum the coil area in the back of the refrigerator. You'll be surprised at how much better a refrigerator will work if you keep the back clean. The next thing to do is to sand any rusted areas as smooth as you can, using first 120 grit sandpaper and then 220 grit sandpaper after. If it's a super bad rusted spot, then start off with 60 grit sandpaper and then move to 120 grit sandpaper, then 220 grit sandpaper. In most cases, the rusted areas are usually small. After you have sanded them down, then go over the areas of concern with some steel wool pads. Once the exterior of the refrigerator is prepped, then you can spray paint it any color of your choosing. Before you do this, make sure that the chrome parts are taped over with masking tape and any other areas you don't want to be colored. Don't be afraid of the colors here. I lived in one old basement apartment one time that had a circa 1950s refrigerator that was painted a bright red color, and it was amazing to live with. I loved that refrigerator. Anyway, you may decide that the simple, plain use of a nice splash of color is all you want to do. Or you can get really creative. If you are a gothic type of person and like black and skulls and dark images, you can spray paint your refrigerator nice black and paint a skull or other dark image of your choice on the door of the refrigerator. Anyone coming into your kitchen will be blown away by this. Or you can paint the refrigerator a nice lemon yellow and then paint bouquets of flowers on the refrigerator for another great effect. Or a nice green refrigerator with a woodland scene. A lovely blue refrigerator with an amazing underwater scene with colorful tropical fish swimming around. Other things you can do are to put some kind of a border around the door of the refrigerator, like it's a framed painting. Or you can stencil some images. A nice effect on a black refrigerator is something with brilliant primary colors. Maybe some clouds, maybe a huge sunflower, maybe a clown's face, a merry-go-round, hot air balloons, whatever makes you happiest. You can also get even more creative by making the image that you choose overflow the refrigerator door. Maybe some vines can wrap their way around the sides of the refrigerator and on top of to the top of the refrigerator. The sky's the limit, and I can guarantee that every time you enter your kitchen that it will make you smile, and every person that enters your home will think it's absolutely amazing. Once you've decided upon what you want to do, then you finish the job with a nice coat or two of clear spray varnish. Now your refrigerator has gone from being the kitchen eyesore to the landmark of your kitchen. Next on our appliance makeover list is the stove. I don't know about you, but I have lived with some super crappy stoves in my time. It doesn't seem to matter if it's electric or gas powered, a dirty, crappy stove just sucks. The first thing to do is to clean your stove as thoroughly as you can. Really detail it. Then check to see that all the elements are working. The best course of action for burned out drip pans under the stove elements is to simply replace them. This is not a huge expense and is so well worth it to how it makes you feel to cook on that stove when it's done. The secret here is in the cleaning. Use steel wool pads and an abrasive cleanser like baking soda. I have even used knives to scrape off really difficult patches. If it's truly a mess, if it is a super horrible mess, you can pour hydrogen peroxide on the surface and work in baking soda and let it sit for a while before scrubbing again. Clean the oven really well and the drawer in the bottom if you happen to have one. The simple act of detail cleaning the stove will amaze you in what it can do for even the nastiest of stoves, and will be a pleasure for you to cook on and live with. Do not paint your stove. This appliance gets hot and will do funny things to paint. I know from experience here. Just super clean your stove and leave it at that. Now, if you have an over-the-stove vent cover that is all tore up, then you first clean it as thoroughly as you can, then sand flat any rusted spots. Start off with 120 grit sandpaper and move up to 220 grit. But if there are really bad sections, use 60 grit sandpaper to start and then move to 120 grit, then 220 grit. Once you have finished this, then go over the whole stove vent with your steel wool pad. Now you can spray paint your stove vent any color of your choosing, remembering, of course, to masking tape the areas that you don't want to be colored. You can coordinate your stove vent with your refrigerator if you like, or do something entirely different. Maybe you like the idea of a troll staring at you in the face as you cook. Maybe a clown's face staring at you. Maybe a skull or a vampire. It's all up to you. Whatever makes you happy. Oftentimes, as you get yourself set up, you discover that you want a chest deep freeze. Your first forays into this appliance are most likely going to be secondhand. Maybe you have to store your deep freeze in your kitchen, like I've had to do through the years. Then you don't want it to be an old eyesore. The first thing to do is, once again, give your deep freeze a thorough cleaning inside and out. If there are rust spots, then you sand them with 120 grit sandpaper, then 220 grit sandpaper. If they're really bad rust spots, use 60 grit sandpaper and then move back to 120 grit and then 220 grit. Then go over the whole deep freeze exterior with a steel wool pad. At this point, you can spray paint your deep freeze. Go for really brilliant colors, maybe a cobalt blue deep freeze, or a nice deep forest green deep freeze. Deep freezes are really nice to work with because you have these large square surfaces to work with, just like working with a regular artist canvas. You can apply images all over your deep freeze, or just on the top, or just on the front. You can put borders around the square surfaces like picture frames. Anything goes. It is also a terrific effect to paint things like vines that extend all over the deep freeze, like it's a piece of nature that has come into your kitchen to live with you. Beautiful flowers, blue skies, or darker images of skulls and so forth. It can be anything that you desire. Once you have finished your painting or stenciling or whatever you've decided upon, then you spray paint over your creation with 1 or 2 coats of clear varnish. Sometimes you have to live with an exposed hot water tank in your kitchen, like I've had to do through the years. What you can do here is to clean the hot water tank thoroughly. Then you sand out any rusted spot with 120 grit sandpaper, move to 220 grit. If it's really bad, start with 60 grit. Now, finish off with the steel wool pad. Once you've prepped the hot water tank, make certain that a gas or propane hot water tank is turned off. It doesn't matter so much if it's electric. Masking tape all of the pipes and anything else you don't want painted Then spray paint your hot water tank a beautiful color, or spray paint it the color of your wall so that it fades into the background and becomes somewhat invisible. You will have to determine what you want to do with your particular situation here. You could then paint the hot water tank with the image or images of your choice. Forest scenes, giant flowers, skulls, ocean, fish, clouds, stencils or vines crawling up its sides, anything that pleases you. Once you are done with your creation, you then spray paint it with 1 to 2 coats of clear varnish. As for the exposed pipes, you can paint them the same color as your wall and cause them to disappear, or you can paint them different colors or some color from your chosen image on the hot water tank, or you can paint them green to keep the crawling vine image going. As a matter of fact, if you are having to live with any type of exposed piping system in your home, like in a basement apartment, it makes them disappear, the pipes, if you paint them the same color as your walls or ceilings. Or you can go wild with colors. It's all in what you like to do. Well, that's it for now. To stay up to date with my latest videos, make sure to subscribe to this free YouTube channel by clicking the red subscription button right below this video. Take care!